Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Story of Sam and welcome back to a brand new NBA video today here on the channel. And today I'm going to be going over, are the Philadelphia 76ers a legit title contender for the 2021 season? How far I think they will go, looking at potential playoff matchups for the Sixers and just overall how I think their team is as a whole going into the postseason. If you guys are brand new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers. And of course, guys, make sure to drop a like on today's video. It helps get the videos into recommendations a lot, so make sure to drop a like. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the Philadelphia 76ers have definitely had a major improvement over the offseason. They made a bunch of moves, going from the 6th seed last season to now the current #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Again, they made a bunch of changes to their roster, getting rid of Al Horford's terrible contract, getting rid of Josh Richardson, and also adding guys like Danny Green, Dwight Howard, Seth Curry, all those guys to help complement Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, of course, add shooting around them. And again, they have had a great season. They are #1 in the Eastern Conference. And of course, Joel Embiid could have arguably won MVP if he didn't get injured, but that is like the #1 thing with Embiid. Can Embiid stay healthy? That is like a major question mark every single season. But Ben Simmons has had a good year defensively, but he still hasn't really improved offensively. His points per game has gone down from last season, and in every single year he's been in the NBA, his shot attempts per game have gone down, which I don't think there's ever been a rookie that averaged the most shots in a rookie year, and then in the next 3 seasons shoots less and less each season. I don't know. He's shooting 10.1 attempts a game this year. I mean, he could be way more aggressive. Like, look at a guy like Giannis. They're both really tall, athletic, like the point guards, or if you want to consider them power forwards. They're both like that type of play style, but just Giannis's mentality of just attacking the rim and being very aggressive is so much more effective than Ben Simmons. Of course, Ben Simmons could drop 40 points in a game this year. Again, he did it like once against the Utah Jazz, but there are plenty of games where he ends with like 8 points. They are still winning, so I guess it is working out, but I obviously want to see Ben Simmons more aggressive on the offensive end. Ben Simmons this year is averaging 14 points a game, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Good numbers, but I feel like, again, he can do a lot more. And someone who has been doing a lot more this season and stepping up to the challenge has been Joel Embiid, of course, averaging 29 points a game, 11 rebounds, and doing it very efficiently as well, shooting 51% from the field and also 36% from deep, and also shooting the most free throws in the NBA at 11 attempts a game on 85% from the line. So he's been scoring on all 3 levels, playing good defense as well. So again, definitely an MVP candidate. He won't win it, of course. I think Jokic has it locked up at this point, but if Joel Embiid didn't get hurt, he could have won the MVP, but I guess we'll never know. They also did pick up George Hill at the trade deadline. I think it was a nice low-risk move. I mean, there's really no downside of trading like Tony Bradley and a second-round pick for George Hill. I mean, George Hill can give you some good 3-point shooting off the bench, you know, a good veteran player. He did shoot 39% from deep with OKC, and on the Bucks, the last season, the 2020 season, he shot 46% from 3, the best in the entire league. And for the Sixers right now, I really like their road to the Eastern Conference Finals. As the 1 seed, you're going to play the 8 seed, of course. That will be a play-in tournament winner, so they're going to be playing one of the play-in tournament teams. It could be a pretty decent team, but I think the Sixers will have a pretty easy time no matter who it is. And then being the 1 seed, you will be playing the winner of the 4-5 matchup in the Eastern Conference. Again, they could face a good team. There's potential they play like the Knicks, the Hawks, the Heat. If they play the Knicks or the Hawks, it's going to be a pretty easy series. I could see Sixers in 4 or 5 against either of those teams, but who knows, they could match up against a couple tough teams in the first 2 rounds. But as I said, I like their path to the conference finals. And also, when looking at them versus the Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets, that is their main competition. It's looking like the Bucks will play the Nets in the second round of the playoffs. That's going to be very, very interesting seeing who wins that series, but assuming the Sixers make the Eastern Conference Finals, they will have to play, most likely, the Bucks or the Nets. And I think they match up pretty well with those teams just because they have Joel Embiid inside, Ben Simmons, a great perimeter defender. They have Matisse Thybulle, another great defender, so they have a bunch of guys that can play defense on guys like Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, all those guys, Giannis, Chris Middleton, Jrue Holiday. They have great defensive players individually, and they are one of the better defensive teams in the NBA. And if they end up playing the Brooklyn Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals, having Joel Embiid is going to be key in that series because, again, the Brooklyn Nets aren't a good defensive team. I don't think they're as bad at defense as people say they are, but again, they don't have any interior defense to stop Joel Embiid in the paint. But again, they could definitely outscore the Sixers, clearly because the star power of those 3, Kyrie, Harden, and Durant, can basically outscore anyone. All 3 of those guys could drop 30 in the same game, and they just have so many options down the stretch. But again, the Sixers have great defenders, and Joel Embiid Who's going to be stopping Joel Embiid on the Brooklyn Nets? DeAndre Jordan? Because DeAndre Jordan is definitely not going to be able to stop Joel Embiid in the low post. He's going to be living at the free throw line, and I feel like he could end up having a huge series against the Nets. Now, against the Bucks are pretty good defensively, so it wouldn't be as easy for Embiid to just dominate the entire game, but I still think the Sixers have a little bit more talent than the Bucks. Obviously, guys like Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, and obviously Giannis could be a little bit shaky down the stretch. Can he close games? His free throw shooting is not too great, and just overall his jump shooting and perimeter game is not good at all, so he really relies on athleticism, just driving to the rim, Euro steps, just charging into people. So Giannis versus Embiid could be a good matchup, but I do think the Sixers could beat the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I would still pick the Nets over the Sixers, assuming Brooklyn is all healthy. If there is one of the three players of Brooklyn missing, I think the Sixers would end up going to the finals. Again, that's if Brooklyn is hurt, like one of their stars is gone. But if the Nets are fully healthy, in my opinion, they're going to win the championship just because they have that much star power. And people want to talk about the defense, but I feel like if they just lock in on defense, like in a close game, I feel like they could still put together a couple stops, and that's all they need because they have a great offense. But the Sixers would have a great chance against them, and if the Nets would go down, I think the Sixers could be one of the teams to do it, obviously, because the Bucks and the Sixers are the Nets' biggest competition, and again, the Sixers match up really well against Brooklyn, and that could potentially be one of the best series in the entire playoffs. And I feel like if the Sixers do go down in the playoffs, a main reason would be for Ben Simmons' play. Again, guys, I know it's been talked about a ton, but I don't think they're a good fit, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. I mean, again, Joel Embiid, a dominant post player, playing with a guy like Ben Simmons who refuses to shoot three-pointers. I mean, that spacing is going to be terrible come postseason time when the game's even slower, more half-court offense in like the fourth quarter, late moments of the game. I feel like that's going to be really noticeable, and it could be one of the reasons why they don't end up making the finals or even the conference finals. But again, I think they will make the conference finals, but I think they will end up going out to the Nets just because, again, the duo of Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, I don't think it's a good fit. And I'm not saying Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons don't get along. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm strictly talking about on the court. The way they play the game does not match. And the Sixers have also got great contributions from guys like Dwight Howard, Shake Milton, of course Matisse Thybulle, Korkmaz, even Danny Green's been playing better this season. They're a pretty deep team, but their trio is definitely Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris. Those are their main guys. So to answer the question, are the Sixers a legit title contender? I think they are, but again, you never know what could happen. The Nets might get hurt, the Bucks might beat them, the Sixers could win the championship, and I think this is their best chance to do so. They are the 1 seed, they're looking really good, they're a great team at home, they will have home court advantage probably up until the finals if they make it there, just because there are teams in the Western Conference like the Suns and Jazz that would have home court advantage over them in a finals matchup, but they will have home court in every single Eastern Conference playoff series, which I think will help them out a ton. Can they get it done? Make sure to drop a comment down below. Again, I don't think they will win the chip, but I do think they have a decent shot at it, again, making them a legit contender, in my opinion, for the 2021 season. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video on if the Philadelphia 76ers are a legit title contender or not. Again, I think they are one. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts if they are a title contender or not, and how far they will go in the playoffs. If you guys are brand new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers, and of course, guys, make sure to drop a like on today's video. That helps YouTube push my content to a lot more people. And if you guys do want to watch more of my NBA or NBA 2K videos, I'm gonna leave an end screen right when this video finishes to 2 of my previous uploads that I think you guys would really enjoy. So have a great rest of your day, guys. It's been Story of Sam, and I'm out. Peace.